So in this episode, we talked about living as a ninja and developing the ability to navigate uncertainty through observation and probability thinking, right? During Whiteboard Wednesday, we'll begin exploring how information gathering actually works in real situations, right? And how it's already embedded in techniques, in strategies, right? It's right there. It's just a different layered level within the kata and those kind of things, right? So more specifically, though, we'll be focusing on the sensory side of awareness, right? Most people rely almost entirely on sight, but warrior traditions, okay, information comes through all the senses, okay? And so this week, we'll start looking at one of the most overlooked senses in martial training, okay? And that's the tactile sense, the sense of touch, okay? And so, yeah, that'll be cool. And then, of course, that's going to lead to the physical training during Friday's masterclass, right? So Kankaku refers to the ability to perceive information through the body, okay? Not just with the eyes, right? But through touch, through pressure, through balance and movement, there's a bunch of other things, but that'll serve for today, okay? So this is where things like Uke Nagashi, right? Where Uke Nagashi comes in, right? And where they become very important, okay? Because for me, when I'm helping my students, Uke Nagashi is a gateway to something much deeper that gets way closer to where we're going here, okay? So very important, but many people think Uke Nagashi simply means blocking, deflecting, parrying, like redirecting an attack, that kind of thing, right? But Uke Nagashi serves another purpose, okay? Uke Nagashi is like an insect's antenna. It's gathering information, okay? So we could say that Uke Nagashi is receiving, because Uke Nagashi, Uke is receiving, and Nagashi means to flow away, to wash away, to that kind of thing, right? It's the way I was taught, and this is not literal, but I was taught to translate Uke Nagashi as the ability to receive and neutralize the force of the enemy's attack. Okay, that's not literal, but when you combine these two things, that describes the function of Uke Nagashi way better than just, kind of translating it literally kind of thing. But if we think about it, right, Uke Nagashi is receiving plus monitoring, measuring. I'm going to use the word measuring. And I don't mean like with a yardstick or a tape measure or whatever. Monitoring is a good word as well, but monitoring is closer to like awareness and paying attention, okay? Measuring is how much, right? There's pressure, right? There's force, there's balance or lack of balance, or there's movement or whatever, okay? What I really want, I'm not just picking up on the fact that it's happening, but how much, to what extent, okay? So when we receive an attack, we're also gathering information, okay? And receiving an incoming punch or grab, okay? And so you know how to do this, right? It's just in your curriculum, it just says soft receiving arm, okay? There's a reason for the soft receiving arm. The more tense you are, right, the less you actually feel. And the more proactive you are, the less you're going to feel. All you're going to register after the fact is contact was made, right? Right. The eyes are very, very easily deceived, easily tricked. Chaos, too much stuff going on, lighting, but also dust, sweat, whatever getting in your eyes distorts things, okay? But eyes can only show an appearance. It only informs you on what things look like, right? At least from the angle that you're on, right? Contact, that gives you a whole bunch of things, right? It gives you intent, pressure, direction, all kinds of things, okay? So here's what we're gonna do. Just practice this for a couple minutes to kind of warm up the legs and whatnot. So the punch comes in, just gonna kind of receive it this way, right? Not trying to hit it, nothing major. Almost like there's a ball mitt on the back of your arm, right? And you're just going to come into contact with it. I don't even care about like how good the rest of your complaints. Okay? I want you to focus on this thing, right? And you can go to either side. Okay, just generally speaking, catching around here. Okay, okay. Just coming into contact with. Okay, that's it. Just practice that because we're going to focus the mind on gathering information. Okay, yeah. Okay. Okay, so now I want you to do the same thing, but the uke, right? And I want you to think about, forget attacker, defender, the person who's throwing the punch, think controller. Person who's receiving an Uke Nagashi, right? Think receiver. Okay? So I'll punch, he's gonna do it. And there's a lot of contact there. There's a lot of pressure from his arm. So I'm gonna say, I think you can do less. Okay? So try to catch with less. Okay? So put the pressure in that you had before. Okay. So how long does it take to register when I move? Now relax. How long does it take to register? Oh. That's a huge difference, isn't it?
It is.
Huh?
You should feel that.
I don't want to break my arm. Okay. Less. There you go. Okay. Now put back what you had. There you go. Okay. So how long does it take to register that? Okay. Relax. How long does it take to register that? Okay. We need to find that sweet spot where information we're getting from them is damn near instantaneous. Because if you're this way and this moves like this far, right? That's half the distance it's going to go. When you're suddenly surprised, your brain, to reconcile that surprise and to get refixed to be able to act, right, takes damn near a quarter of a second. I know that's really fast. But the impulse, the contact from right here, registers in your brain in 30 to 80 milliseconds. So if it takes you 200 to 250 to respond to that, it's a huge gap, right? You understand? Okay, so light touch. Okay, the other reason for doing it this way, and I don't want this to cross over too far, is when he punches, that seems incidental. Yes, that seems like I'm doing something.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it feels to both of us like I'm doing something because I am, right? But the thing I'm doing is receiving it. Like catching that ball in your glove that you can toss to the other hand. You're not, right? You're not going to throw it with the glove, right?
Right.
Receive it. Like taking it in. Okay? Uke Nagashi. Uke means to receive. Nagashi, right, means to wash away, to deflect, but not like a hard reflecting, like almost like a parry kind of thing, right? He comes in here and it's just one of these little things, okay? You're absorbing it, you're washing it away, you're dissipating the energy. But what I put on Wednesday was receiving and measuring. But I can't measure if I'm trying to do something to him. Because I'm trying to do something. Well, I am doing something. People think of this stuff when we're being more on the softer or passive side, that means we're not doing anything that's like weak. No. I am doing something. I'm letting him tell me how to whoop his ass. Okay, so this comes in. It doesn't matter which way we're going. I'm just like catching an incoming ball. With as little contact as possible, but I need contact. This is too little. Feel it? You're gonna move before I can recognize it, right? This is too much. You're gonna move because of what I'm doing to you. And then I've got to find it, right? I want to catch that. So to you, it feels incidental. Okay. Sure. Yes, right. Okay. So, but now when you're doing it, right? Partner, if it feels like they're doing something, right? If it feels less than a touch, feels less than an incidental contact, that's too much. Okay. So Uke Nagashi is one part of a set of techniques, right? Uke Nagashi is a receiving flow, a receiving deflection kind of thing. But we also have Uke Uch, right? A receiving strike, right? Could be a counter kick, could be a counter strike. We call them counter strikes, counter kicks, where we're receiving it and like bumping it kind of thing, or actually hitting it, right? Bang, knocking that thing away. There's also Uke Dome, right? Receiving stop. And that's closer to what people think of or what they're pointing to when they use the word block, but it's still different. Okay. But they all get reduced to this. Uke. Receiving, taking on, right? Absorbing, that kind of thing, right? It's not like a shield, it's not like a block kind of thing, right? This is adaptive. This requires adaptation and flexibility and whatnot. There's a neutralizing kind of thing going on. So this is way closer to this idea of Kankaku. These things are linked, right? This is the perception of, right? And all of our senses, right? We receive information in, right? We receive it to perceive it, right? So the stuff comes in just raw data through the eyes, through the ears, taste buds, those kind of things, right? And then a part of our brain perceives it, right? What are we perceiving, right? This perception is measuring it or comparing it to what do we know about this, right? What have we learned about it? What kind of options do we have? That kind of thing. And then we go into action based on that thing. We might say something, we might have certain thoughts, we might do something with our body, that kind of thing, right? This is psychology. This is neuroscience, right? Without having to learn neuroscience, okay? And these guys came up with this stuff long before Freud and all these other guys were glimmer in mommy and daddy's eyes. Anyway, all right, so let's take a look at the intelligence of contact, right? What are we talking about, right? The moment that contact happens, the opponent literally begins revealing information, but so do we. Okay, so here's a good news, bad news things that my teacher used to describe, right? The good news is this stuff works. The bad news is that it works for the person who knows it's going on. And so welcome back to KUDEN. KUDEN Radio is the full name, right? So just in case you're new, just in case you're in passing, I don't know. Just a quick reminder, right? This is the podcast for you. Right? The serious student of the warrior traditions looking to apply the deeper principles of Ninjutsu, Ninpo, and the warrior mindset to life in the modern world, right? We're not cosplay. We're not, I don't know, Naruto wannabes, whatever, okay? So today, I want to talk about something that sits at the very heart of the ninja traditions, but that's often, way too often, misunderstood. And that's the difference between training ninja techniques, training ninja skills, and living as a ninja. Okay? Most people encounter ninjutsu through the lens of combat, right? I think we can all recognize that, at least in the West, right? Strange phenomenon between East and West, right? That's the folks in the East, at least when I got involved, right? It was very different, right? It was not the same. Okay. But for us here in the West, right, it's through this lens of combat, self-defense, being the super soldier, that kind of thing, right? They think about stealth, They think about weapons, fighting techniques, physical self-defense, those kind of things, right? And those things certainly exist within the art, right? We know that, right? But they were never really the center of it, the core of it, right? Of course, you know, they were used, and that's kind of what we gravitated to. But the core is something very different, right? The deeper purpose of the training was something much larger, much bigger. It was about developing the ability to navigate reality when reality becomes unpredictable. Right? In other words, the ninja didn't train for certainty, right? He or she trained